I don't even want to put it on my Goodreads that I read it because I don't want people to think I liked it. I feel like if you don't know what to read sometimes, it's best to just do a dark romance. It wasn't bad, but it also wasn't good. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maddie if you're new here, and in today's reading vlog, I am going to be reading books that I have never heard anybody talk about before. As someone that consumes book content on every platform where you can consume book content, it can get a little exhausting hearing creators talk about the same 5 books over and over again, and I get it. I mean, popular books are popular for a reason because people love them and connect with the characters. But I am on a mission to find a new book that I love and can recommend without people being like, no duh, I've heard about that before, I'm on booktok. I just thought it would be refreshing to talk about books that no one ever talks about, and even if I don't end up loving these books, at least it's some new content for you. So this video could be a great way for me to discover a new author that I love and that I want everybody else to read, or it could put me into a huge book slump because maybe there's a reason nobody is talking about these books. And also, these are just books I've never heard people talk about in my feed. I'm sure they've been talked about on the internet before. Let's get into the video. Hey guys, I actually don't know what my hair is doing, but I'm vibing with it. So let's talk about the first book I'm reading for this video. The first book I'm reading is called Caging Liberty by Nicole Cipher. This is a dark romance. I'm gonna tell you about the summary, but first I'm going to tell you how I found out about this book. So on Stuff for Your Kindle Day, I was just scrolling through all of the covers on Amazon and downloading the ones that had the most reviews. This one did not have a ton of reviews, like none of them did, because obviously you're not gonna give away a free Emily Henry book on Stuff for Your Kindle Day. You're gonna give away the books that are by smaller authors and stuff like that. But this one still had a lot of reviews, and so I downloaded it. And I've never actually heard anybody talk about it or anything. I'm sure people have, I just haven't seen it on BookTube or booktok, so I feel like it qualifies for this video. And the summary of it, let me read you the summary of it. Actually, I'm not gonna read you the summary. That makes me look like I'm into some questionable stuff. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna read you the summary because I can't describe it better. Just know it's giving One Direction fanfiction vibes. It's giving Stockholm Syndrome. Did you guys ever read Laced on Wattpad? That is what this book seems like so far. So it says, caged. That's the word that best describes my current predicament. Kidnapped and taken to a private island full of hungry, depraved men. It seems like my situation can't get any worse, but unfortunately, I'm not sure that's true. The mystery of how I got here reeks of betrayal, and I don't know how much more of it I can take. It's starting to seem like lies and deceit are all that I know. The only crumb of comfort I have comes from one of the island residents, a man I'm told to call Mr. A. He isn't quite like the rest, and he gives me hope I can't help but cling to in a place like this. That's all I'm gonna read. Basically, she is gonna fall in love with her captor. And it says this book ends on a cliffhanger and is part of a series. It has an average rating of 3.67 on Goodreads and 643 ratings. That's actually a lot on Goodreads. And the first 3 reviews I'm seeing, 2 5 stars and 1 4 star. I think I'm 40% through with it right now, and the only reason I picked it up is because I feel like if you don't know what to read sometimes, it's best to just do a dark romance. Not for everybody, but for me, because dark romances are just so unique, and I feel like it can get you back into the habit of reading because they're also fast-paced and you're like, what actually is happening? I will update you guys when I have more thoughts about this book. Caging Liberty. I don't even know what to say about this book. It wasn't bad, but it also wasn't good. It's one of those books that you read because it's entertaining, but are you ever going to think about it again or recommend it to anyone? Or is it going to win an award? Definitely not. But I read to escape and for entertainment, and it was definitely entertaining. It was really predictable, but honestly, I kind of like that in a dark romance because I don't like things to be too dark. And I've read Haunting and Hunting Adeline, and Cagey and Liberty is literally not even a dark romance compared to those books. I mean, it definitely is. Like, you guys saw me read the summary, but it's not too dark. So honestly, I know I said I wouldn't recommend this to anyone, but I would recommend this to you if you want to get into dark romance. I think it's a good place to start. The writing is super easy to follow, and I think I mentioned earlier that this book was going to end on a cliffhanger, and it did. And I kind of wanted to read the second book right away, but it wasn't free, and I didn't really want to pay for it because I know it's just gonna be an average read. So we'll see. It was only a few dollars. Maybe I'll get to it eventually, but it's called Taming Liberty, and I do want to figure out what happens. Did I kind of like this book? I'm not going to rate it because it was super short and I don't even know what to think. Not the worst book I've ever read. I don't know what book I'm going to read next, but I'll let you guys know. Hey guys, it's been a while. I actually started and finished a book for this video without saying anything about it. And that is because I don't have anything nice to say about this book. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I really am going to make this brief. I'm not gonna like talk about how much I disliked this book, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. It's called A Cure Through Love, and I only heard about this book through a TikTok, but it was the first time I had ever seen anybody say anything about it, and they didn't even say anything. They just said they recommend it, and I was like, perfect. I've heard nobody else talk about this. And I was really excited about it because in the TikTok, it was a bunch of thriller recommendations. There were thrillers that I loved in there that I had already read, and then there were other thrillers that I want to read that are highly anticipated reads for me. So I was like, perfect. This is going to be an amazing thriller. I started it a few days ago, and the first chapter like really hooked me. I was like, wow, this is gonna be amazing. It's one of those thrillers where a therapist is involved, which could be amazing or awful. I loved The Silent Patient. I thought that was a great psychological thriller with the whole therapist aspect, so you don't even really know what's going on the whole time because main character may be unreliable. And I've been looking for a book like that forever. I read The Silent Patient in one day. That was one of the first thrillers I read that got me back into reading, but I think I would still love it if I reread it. So I was excited that this has a therapist as one of the main characters. The first chapter started out strong, the writing was good, and I was hooked on the storyline, but then when I was about 25% into the book, I just felt like the writing style changed, and I felt like the author like really nailed that first chapter to hook you in. But ever since that part of the book, I was like, I don't know about this writing, I don't know about the story, I don't know about the characters. And I thought about DNFing it then, but for the sake of the video, I had to persevere. I got to 50% yesterday, and then I still wanted to DNF it. And I was like, but it's a thriller. The ending could change everything for me, you know? It could be a really good plot twist, and I'm like, oh my god, amazing, 5 stars. That did not happen. I literally just skimmed the rest of the book, and then the last 2 chapters I read because it was the reveal. Let's just say I did not find an amazing book recommendation in this video for you guys yet, because this book, I don't even want to put it on my Goodreads that I read it because I don't want people to think I liked it. With all that being said, give the book a chance if you want. This one is really low-key. It only has 37 ratings on Goodreads, and the ratings aren't even bad. It's a 3.62 average rating. There's not a 1-star review on there at all. If I had rated this book, there would be. But I don't want to do that to the author. If it's a newer author, I don't need to be giving her a 1-star review on Goodreads. That's just not productive. I'm just gonna say I read it. And it is on Kindle Unlimited. So I really should just end this video now because I fear it is putting me into a slump. But there is one book that could save this video. And it's actually a book I own. This book came in one of those wrapped blind dates with a book, and when I opened it, it was this book. It's called 21 Truths About Love by Matthew Dix, and this one actually has a few thousand ratings on Goodreads, so it is one of the more popular books out of the 3 I've read. And I noticed when I was looking at the cover, it has a blurb right here by Taylor Jenkins Reid. It says radical, extraordinary, and profoundly human. And the reason why I want to read this book is, one, to knock a book off my physical TBR that's been sitting there for a while, and two, this book is unique because it's written entirely in lists. Even the description is a numbered list. You open it, a list, more lists, timestamps. I don't know, it kind of looks like a diary. And because it's written in lists, I feel like it's going to be really fast paced, and that's exactly what I need. Do you guys want me to read the summary? I guess I should read the summary. Daniel Mayrock's life is at a crossroads. He knows the following to be true. He loves his wife Jill more than anything. He only regrets quitting his job and opening a bookshop a little, maybe more than a little. Jill wants to start a family. The bookshop isn't doing well. Financial crisis is imminent. Dan doesn't know how to fix it. Dan hasn't told Jill about their financial trouble. Then Jill gets pregnant. This is a story about the lengths one man will go to and the risk he will take to save his family. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then it goes on and says a little bit more, but that sounds interesting. And there's a bookstore involved. I love when there's like a book lover's aspect to a book, because I myself am a book lover. I'll let you guys know what I think about this, and maybe we will have one good recommendation from this video. Bye. Hey guys, I did indeed finish 21 Truths About Love by Matthew Dix, and this isn't saying much at all, but I think this was my favorite book from this video. Definitely between this and Caging Liberty. It was still probably only a 3-star rating, maybe 2.5 stars. But I will say I read this in a few days, and at one point the plot was so crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, is the main character actually gonna do that? I wanted to keep reading, but I was reading in bed and Sam was like, how are you still reading? I'm tired, let's go to bed. So I had to put the book down, but I really didn't want to, just because the plot went absolutely wild. And I was like, no chance this is happening. But it did happen. It was interesting, it was super fast paced. And by that I mean because the whole book is made of lists, so there's not a lot of words on every page and it goes by fast. The idea was kind of cool. I will say not everything needs to be written down on paper. Like, this was just 350 pages of the main character's intrusive thoughts, which is kind of cool and kind of like, you didn't need to say that. But it was also funny too, and I took screenshots of the funny parts. So I think he was just making a list of things that are annoying, or like when people are annoying, and he said anyone who watches videos on their phones in public places without headphones. Felt that. I so agree. I don't know what he was talking about in this one, but the thought was funny, and I agree. Yes, airline seats recline, but they do so only as a means of identifying assholes on your flight. And then the last one I thought was funny. The person who has nothing in life except the desire to be the boss is the last person who should be the boss. It was funny, but I will say the main character was so unlikable. He lied to his wife the whole book, and obviously, I mean, that's part of the plot. He has some things he needs to work on. He needs to go to therapy. He is also unlikable because he doesn't like dogs, and he talks about that frequently. So immediately after he said that, can't be a 5-star book for me because I'm a dog lover. Overall, I think I would recommend this book. I don't know. And now it's time to wrap this video up. So what did we learn from reading books that I've never heard anybody talk about? I fear that nobody is talking about these books because they aren't that good. I'm kidding, reading is subjective. Honestly, this video didn't go as I expected it to. I definitely thought I would find a book that I loved, but I also didn't do a lot of research when picking these books, so that's kind of my bad. I don't have a new favorite book that has yet to be discovered, unfortunately, but this was a good experiment. You know, sometimes you get sick of seeing the same books over and over again, but the same books are popular because people like them. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Really, this was just a reading vlog, so ignore anything I've ever said and like and subscribe if you don't hate me, and stay tuned for more reading vlogs. I'm filming a very exciting one right now that involves Magnolia Park. See you guys later!